Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you all are doing good. So in this video, we are going to cover urease test. So let's start. So let's see first what is urease. Then you should know that urease is a nickel containing hydrolytic enzyme. And like all other enzyme, urease also has a specific substrate. And the name of its primary substrate is urea. But do you know for acting on urea, urease enzyme requires what? The presence of water. Why? Because urease is a type of hydrolytic enzyme. Hydrolytic enzyme generally acts on their substrate in the presence of water only. So when urease acts on urea in the presence of water, it converts urea into ammonia and carbon dioxide. So this is in brief about urease enzyme. Now question comes, what is urease test? Then you should know urease test is a kind of biochemical test which is used to detect the presence of urease enzyme in a test sample. Now we are going to talk about the need of performing urease test in microbiology. What is the need? Then you should know that urease test finds a lot of application in the field of microbiology. It helps in microbial identification, in microbial differentiation. It has applications in clinical diagnostics and in environmental microbiology, etc. Now let's talk about microbial identification. Then you should know that if we are having an unknown bacterial culture or fungal culture, by performing urease test, we can come to know whether that particular culture which we are examining is having the ability to produce urease enzyme or not. If it is having the ability to produce urease enzyme, then this property can help us to identify that unknown microbial culture, right? Because urease enzyme production is not associated with all kind of microorganisms. Now, if we talk about microbial differentiation, as its name is indicating, then you should know by performing urease test, we can differentiate among different type of microorganisms. And especially urease test is used to differentiate what? A urease positive Proteus species from other members of Enterobacteriaceae family. So you see Enterobacteriaceae family is a family of gram-negative bacteria, and those bacteria which are mainly found where in human intestine and are pathogenic type of bacteria like E. coli is there, which is the known causal agent of what? Diarrhea. Salmonella typhi is there, which is the causal agent of typhoid. They all belong to what? Enterobacteriaceae family. And Proteus species are also found where in Enterobacteriaceae family they have been placed. But when we are interested to differentiate Proteus species from other Enterobacteriaceae members, then you should know urease test is very important there because Proteus species are very well known to produce urease enzyme in large quantities. That's why urease positive Proteus species, just because of urease production, can easily be differentiated from other Enterobacteriaceae members which can either not able to produce urease, or if they will be producing urease, then only very small quantity or weakly positive other members are. Now we are going to talk about clinical diagnostics. Here you should know that urease test finds immense applications, especially its rapid version, rapid urease test, where to detect Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori is a gram-negative bacteria which is the causal agent of what? Peptic ulcer disease. Right? In gastric biopsy samples, we can detect the presence of Helicobacter pylori using what? Urease test. Because this bacteria is capable of producing urease enzyme. Now, let's talk about environmental microbiology applications. Then you should know that urease activity of microbial communities are also studied in various environments. Like if we talk about microbial communities present in soil environment, then what is there? They are capable of producing urease, and those urease producing microbial communities found in the soil are actively involved in what? Nitrogen cycling. So in this way, urease enzyme production of different kind of microbial communities helps us to know that what kind of diversity of microorganisms are present in the kind of environment under study. So now we are going towards next slide, that is the principle of urease test. Okay, this is actually how urease test works. Suppose here we are going to take a test sample. Okay, say we are going to take a bacterial culture here, and for performing urease test, we will be needing what? Of course, the substrate for detection of urease enzyme, and that substrate is what? Urea. So if this particular bacterial culture is going to produce urease, then in the presence of water, this urea substrate will be converted by this enzyme urease to what? Ammonia and carbon dioxide. Now you should know what is the principle behind it, behind the detection of this urease activity by this unknown bacterial culture. So the principle lies here that urea, which is the primary substrate of urease enzyme, is actually acidic in nature. And once it comes in contact with the urease, if it is present in the test sample, urea gets converted into ammonia and carbon dioxide. Here ammonia is what? Ammonia is basic and alkaline in nature, right? So this alkaline fermentation of urea actually results only in the presence of urease if it is produced by bacterial culture under examination. Now to detect the presence of these conditions which are indicating a pH change, we will be needing here what? We make the use of a pH indicator here. And the most common type of pH indicator which is used to detect urease activity or in the urease test is phenol red. In addition to the phenol red, one more indicator is there, that is bromothymol blue indicator. But in most of the commercial testings or the kits which are available for urease test, there phenol red is used. Now let's see how phenol red helps us to determine these acidic and basic conditions. Then you should know that phenol red is actually a kind of indicator which, when pH is 6.8, then it shows yellowish to slight orange color. And as the pH increases, there is a change in the color of the phenol red indicator from yellow, then to orange, and finally to the pinkish color, right? So in this way, if yellow color is there, it means acidic conditions are there. Unknown culture what we are examining is not having urease enzyme. That's why urea has remained intact and acidic conditions has shown pH indicator to show what kind of color here? Yellow color. And if urease enzyme is present, then of course acidic conditions of urea have now converted into alkaline conditions due to the production of ammonia from the urea breakdown. And this change in the color of the pH indicator from yellow to the pinkish, right? So this is actually the principle of urease test. Now let's see how in laboratory this principle has been used to carry out urease test. So here you should know that we are going to cover what? Procedure. So you see, urease test in microbiology laboratory is actually performed in two ways. Either we can go for using a liquid medium, that is Sturt's urea broth, or we go for using what? Christensen's urea agar. Christensen's urea agar, which is a solid medium, right? So let's see now stepwise procedure using both of these type of medium. So firstly we take what? Bacterial culture in each case, for which we would like to know whether this particular culture is having urease activity or not. Then what next we will be needing? Of course, this broth, liquid medium we will be needing. And here in Christensen's urea agar, we will be needing what? We will be needing urea agar, that is a solid medium, and we will be preparing here what? Slants of this medium, right? Both the medium, they are having two main key components, and those are what? One is substrate urea, and second one is phenol red, which will be helping us to know whether conditions has changed from acidic condition to basic condition or not in the presence of urease enzyme. Now let's see what are the steps. So we will be taking this bacterial culture and we will be inoculating this unknown bacterial culture to what? In the urea broth medium. And here we will streak this culture on the slant, right, in case of solid medium. Now what will be the next step? After inoculation of the bacterial culture into the medium, we will be going for incubation. And incubation is generally carried out what? At 35 to 37 degrees Celsius temperature for 18 to 24 hours or more, depending on the type of microbial culture, because some microbial cultures show instant urease activity, or some can take few hours, or some can take even longer than 24 hours, or they can take few days. Now after incubation, what will be the next step? Of course, observation and results part. Now there are two possibilities. Either we can get results like this, or we can get results like this. So if results are coming like this, we can understand very well, if we have understood on the previous slide the principle that if urease enzyme is not there in the bacterial culture, or the bacterial culture what we are examining here is not capable of producing urease enzyme, then urea which was present in the medium, that will remain intact, that will not be subjected to any kind of breakdown, and phenol red pH indicator shows under acidic conditions of urea yellow color, and here we can say the test is what, urease negative. On the other hand, if color of the medium has changed to pinkish, it is indicating that yes, alkaline conditions are there, because phenol red which was present in the medium, it will change its color to pinkish color only under alkaline conditions, and alkaline condition will result only after urease enzyme which was produced by bacterial culture has acted on urea present in the medium, and it has led to the production of what, ammonia, leading to alkaline conditions. So in this way we can say this pinkish color of the medium or change in color of the phenol red indicator present in the medium to pinkish color is indicating what, urease positive reaction. So we can get for an unknown bacterial culture or microbial culture either result like this or like this. So this slide was actually covering schematic diagrams just to make you understand about the stepwise procedure. But in real system, actually results come like this. Yellow color here is going to indicate what? The absence of urease activity. And in the same way, Christensen's urea agar, which is a solid medium, its tube will look like this, which is going to show us the medium poured in a slanting position in the tubes. So here yellow color is indicating urease negative results and pinkish color is indicating urease positive reaction. So I hope you are very much clear about the stepwise procedure, that how urease test is performed in the laboratory either by liquid medium or by the solid medium. And here I have also included a list of some urease producing bacteria for your reference: Helicobacter pylori, Proteus mirabilis, Urea plasma urealyticum, Klebsiella pneumoniae, Cryptococcus neoformans. These are some of the urease producing bacteria, right? Now we will be having an interesting application of urease test. It's another version, that is rapid urease test, which has successfully been developed and is routinely used for Helicobacter pylori detection in clinical laboratories or in pathologies. Right. Now you should know that Helicobacter pylori is actually a bacteria which is known to cause what? Peptic ulcer disease. And for rapid checking of this bacteria, we perform what? Urease test. Why? Because this bacteria is capable of producing urease. Right. So in this way, what we can observe, rapid urease test kits are available in the market, which helps us to detect what? Helicobacter pylori. In what kind of samples? In the samples what are obtained from endoscopy. Endoscopy is a procedure which is used mainly to study the internal organs of a patient, right? And during endoscopy, sometimes samples are removed for diagnostic purpose. And these samples are actually, in case of Helicobacter pylori infection, are of mucosal tissue, right? Because Helicobacter pylori actually infect what? Mucosal lining of the stomach or the duodenum, right? So in this way, biopsy samples are actually removed during the endoscopy. If Helicobacter pylori will be present in biopsy sample, it means that patient is suffering from what? Peptic ulcer disease. Now question comes, how we check the presence of Helicobacter pylori presence in this biopsy sample? So of course for that we use this kind of kit which is based on what? Urease test. Now we apply this biopsy sample where? On this test pad. This test pad is having what? This test pad is having the medium which is mainly consisting of what? Urea and the phenol red indicator. The principle I already explained you. If in biopsy sample Helicobacter pylori will be present, then it can be there or it cannot be there, that we need to check through this kit. So once we apply the biopsy sample on this test pad, there are two possibilities. Either we can get results like this. This will be indicating what? Urease negative reaction. And another possibility is that from the biopsy sample, what we have applied or what is under testing, it can give us results like this. Now why it is so? So let's see the explanation for this. If I say results are like this, so it means in the test pad, urea was present here, but it has not actually got converted into ammonia and carbon dioxide. That's why there was no change in color of the phenol red indicator. So this is indicating what? Urease negative reaction. On the other hand, if we talk about urease positive reaction, it means here this biopsy sample was having what? This sample was having a bacteria. What bacteria it was having? That was a suspected bacteria, Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori bacteria was actually capable of producing urease enzyme, and that urease enzyme has led to the conversion of urea which was present here in this medium to ammonia and carbon dioxide, and this ammonia actually changed the color of phenol red indicator present here to the pinkish color. Okay, so in this way this rapid version of urease test is very popular for detection of Helicobacter pylori infection in the biopsy samples. So this was all about our today's video. Thank you so much. Keep watching.